The Steele dossier indicated that Michael Cohen, Donald Trump's former fix-it lawyer, was in Prague in 2016 to meet with Russian officials. And Donald Trump, Michael Cohen, everyone related to the Trump campaign argues that everything in the Steele dossier is complete and utter garbage, nothing is true, and Michael Cohen says that he was never in Prague in 2016. Well, some new evidence indicates that he was in Prague in 2016, or at least near Prague in 2016. So this was a story broken that McClatchy broke. And what they found, based on numerous sources, was that a mobile phone traced to Michael Cohen briefly sent signals ricocheting off cell towers in the Prague area in late summer 2016, leaving an electronic record to support claims that Cohen met secretly there with Russian officials. So this is super relevant because A, Cohen has lied about this, and B, what he allegedly met Russian officials for is very relevant to this special counsel investigation. During the same period of late August or early September, electronic eavesdropping by an Eastern European intelligence agency picked up a conversation among Russians, one of whom remarked that Cohen was in Prague. So what were these conversations allegedly about, according to the Steele dossier? Well, the dossier said that Cohen and one or more Kremlin officials huddled in or around the Czech capital to plot ways to limit discovery of the close liaison between the Trump campaign and Russia. Among the goals of the meeting, the dossier said, was to limit negative news reports about the Russia-friendly relationship of two Trump campaign aides, former policy advisor Carter Page, and just ousted campaign chairman Paul Manafort, and to ensure that European hackers were paid and told to lie low.
Yeah, so this is a little complicated though, because Michael Cohen says to this day, just after the report came out, no way, I was never in Prague, never went to the Czech Republic, and he tweeted, Mueller knows everything. So his point is, I already told Mueller everything. I already cooperated with officials. Why would I lie about this? That's an interesting point. Well, I can think of reasons why he would lie. Maybe he didn't tell Mueller everything after all, and maybe there are actually far worse relationships with Russia than just the Trump Tower in Moscow that he's already revealed. So certainly that's possible. His now ex-lawyer, Lanny Davis, that represented him through this, also insists, hey, we've said 1,000,000 times Cohen never went to Prague. Now, Lanny Davis is also a Democratic operative, let's keep it real, and huge friends with the Clintons, but he's a lawyer and he was representing Cohen. So it's a mixed bag. Maybe he doesn't know. And besides which, he was Cohen's lawyer, so he's gonna say whatever Cohen says. But, and then in terms of the intelligence, and the McClatchy reporters, one of them was on television just today saying, look, I did not personally see the evidence. It was reported to me by my intelligence sources. They were very trustworthy. We've used them for over 2 years and they've never been wrong. But no, I did not see it with my eyes. And so there's just, it's a mixed bag here. But why would Michael Cohen's cell phone be in Prague if he wasn't in Prague? But maybe those sources are lying in the McClatchy newspapers. But why would they do that? So it's definitely a confusing situation, if you ask me.
Okay, so I don't think it's a confusing situation. I think that it's really up in the air who you want to believe. So do you want to believe Michael Cohen, who had confessed to lying under oath? Or do you want to believe the intelligence? There were numerous intelligence sources that went to McClatchy with this story. So again, if you don't want to trust the anonymous sources, I get it, that's fine. But Cohen had an alibi that did not add up, right? No. So let's go to his alibi. First, his denial in response to this McClatchy report. He says via Twitter, I hear Prague, Czech Republic is beautiful in the summertime. I wouldn't know as I've never been. Mueller knows everything. Well, Mueller can certainly find out anything he wants.
You know, the thing that really gets me about this, I just feel like someone needs to buy Cohen like a Netflix subscription so he can watch maybe James Bond or Mission Impossible, these basic films that let you know that your phone's being tracked places and that these little things called technology, that can, get you in trouble and things can be found. IP addresses, those are out there. This just seems like a very basic approach to if I'm gonna commit a crime, maybe I take a burner phone with me and then I destroy it. It's like I know this from watching movies. It just seems really dumb for Cohen to do this. But then again, he lies under oath, so.
And by the way, another thing I want to just quickly mention is just being in Prague doesn't necessarily prove anything, right? Like he could have just been in Prague, like just to be in the Czech Republic, having a good time.
In the middle of a campaign a couple of months before the election.
Right, but again, I mean, I'm personally not buying it, but I just wanna make sure everyone knows, like there hasn't been proof that he was in Prague meeting with the Russians.
So Mueller does know, I'll get to why he knows in a second, but like here's more skepticism from other folks. They say that theoretically, according to the Steele dossier, Konstantin Kosachev set up the meeting. He is a member of the Russian Senate and chairman of the Federation Council's Foreign Affairs Committee. And experts say that is far too prominent a person. It would be like Mike Pompeo, our Secretary of State, setting up a covert meeting. That's not how you set up covert meetings. So that's an interesting point. And they say he also, I mean, to Adrian's point, did a terrible job if he was trying to cover this up, if this stuff is true, because like what you would do is, your phones, even if they're not on, can be tracked. So like even bare minimum spycraft would be, you would leave your phone in a different country on, and especially connected to Wi-Fi, so you could say, like for example, Germany. You say, "Oh, I was in Germany. You see, there's my phone," and you wouldn't bring your phone like a knucklehead to your secret meeting with Russian officials. On the other hand, Michael Cohen's not that bright.
He's not.
Right, so, but finally, so we don't know now, and it would be relevant because this would mean that the Steele dossier was right about a lot of things, and there's other things in the Steele dossier which are very interesting, including the infamous tape in Russia, doing things in a hotel room, etc. Yeah, and but the Mueller does know because any prosecutor can get a warrant, especially in a situation like this, and track your cell phone activity for the last 18 months. So they know, we don't know, but Mueller knows for sure.
They know.
They know. And also there's no visa. So how did he, so again, prosecutors can track the visa issue. So it would be stunning if Mueller's prosecutors did not know if he went to Prague or didn't go to Prague.
So finally, since we promised you Michael Cohen's alibi. So he claims he was not in Prague during that time period. He was actually in Southern California. Cohen has insisted that he was in Southern California with his son from August 23rd to 29th in 2016, but his public alibis have not been so airtight as to preclude flights to and from Europe during the relevant period. So there wasn't enough elaboration there in the report, and I wish there were. But what I do know is something does seem fishy, and there is some evidence, unless these intelligence officials are just completely making it up and fabricating it, which I don't know. I just don't believe that that would be the case.
And so one last thing that's very relevant here. Mueller's team said that Cohen cooperated on 4 different matters. Now we know about the hush money to the mistresses. That's now very, very public. That's a felony. He's going to go to prison for 3 years and implicated Donald Trump, obviously. So that's one. But there's 3 others. And Mueller also said that Cohen cooperated on the core issue on Russian meddling in the elections. Now we don't know the details of that. It could just be the Trump Tower in Moscow deal, which if you didn't hear that story from earlier, Cohen said, yeah, we were lying all along. We continued those dealings for financial dealings for another 6 months, even after Trump won the Republican nomination, and having discussions about getting paid by the Russians to do a deal in Moscow. So that's already terrible. This Prague meeting could be even worse, especially if initially Cohen was hiding it even more than the Trump Tower deal. So, but either way, Mueller has said publicly, don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we got him. 2 easy ways to follow the Young Turks. One is hit the subscribe button down below, then you're a TYT subscriber. And second is ring the bell. And when you do that on YouTube, you're notified of our videos.